Good morning and welcome to the video for Monday, July the 13th. This is going to be a video for upcoming 5th graders. As you'll notice, the background looks a little bit different. I've finished moving into the new apartment, and so I've got things set up. I'm probably going to be looking this direction to look off of my monitor, but I will try to look over as I'm talking. So today is fraction day for pretty much everybody, and so hopefully I will not misspeak on what we're working on today, but let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be doing in 5th grade working with fractions. So 3rd grade we worked on the most basic stuff. 4th grade we added in different tasks about how to add and subtract, and then a little bit on how to do multiplication and division as it relates to finding equivalent fractions. And so we are going to continue building on both of those ideas with finding common denominators, for instance, so that we can do addition. And then we're going to also be working with mixed numbers. And so they follow the same rules. So let's go ahead and talk through these. So for instance, if I'm going to add, I need to change this particular fraction into parts over 12. And so if you remember correctly from last year, I would do 1/3 times 4. And that is going to multiply the top number by 4 as well as the bottom number by 4. And so that's going to give us 4/12. And then we can plug that in up here. And we end up with 5/12 plus 4/12 equals 9/12. Let's go down here. One of the things that we can also do with this is find a common denominator that's different from both of the numbers, but isn't multiplying the same, multiplying the numbers together. So I could do 9/10 times 4, and I can do this times 10. What I can also do is figure out how to make this into parts over 20. And so to do that, I would multiply this side by 5. I would multiply this side by 2. And so that's what I'm going to choose to do. I can just double this. So I would get 18/20. And then I can do 1 times 5. And then 4 times 5. And so now I can go ahead and do my subtraction, 18 minus 5, because again, we're only working with the top numbers here when we're subtracting. That would give us 13/20. Let's go ahead and look at this one here. So we're going to change the 4/5 part into parts over 10, so we can double. We would get 8/10. So I'm just going to kind of scribble through that instead of rewriting it out here. So that would give me 3 9/10. 8 plus 1 would give us our 9 parts over 10, and then we can just add the whole numbers. Sometimes we are going to have to regroup. So I'm going to skip over this one for just a moment because we're not going to have to do that yet, and come down here. So let's say that I would have to regroup. And so my 6, I'm going to take a group away, and then I am going to add the number of parts that we're counting here as a whole. So I would change 6 into 5 and 2/2. And then I can go ahead and do my subtraction. So I can do 2/2 minus 1/2 gives me 1/2. 5 minus 3 gives me 2. And then I don't need to do anything with simplest form for that. I'm just using this one. We're not going to worry about that one. Now let's go back up here. I'm going to go ahead and just do a regular subtraction. Probably need to change this side. And so we would change it to 6 and 6/8. Again, we're just doubling the number of parts that we're counting and the number of parts in the total shape to change to parts over 8. We can subtract, doing 1 5/8. 6/8 minus 5/8 gives us 1/8, and then 6 minus 1, that's a really bad looking 8, gives us 5. If we were adding, let's say that we did an addition problem, and we are going to do 6 7/8 plus 2 2/8. Again, just as a review from last year, if we end up with more parts on the top than we end up on the bottom, we are going to go ahead and regroup that and add 1. So let's say that we would get 8 9/8. So we are going to take 8 of these parts that we're counting here and send them over here as a whole number. Kind of like carrying the 1, but it looks a little bit different. And so this would give us 9 whole shapes and 1 part out of 8 when we do that. So those are the things I wanted to go over with you for today. I'll have to go back and double check, but I don't remember there being anything else that I wanted to go over with from this particular chapter, other than the work with multiplication and division of fractions. And I think what I may do is do multiplication on Thursday, and then I'll do the division part on Monday, because those concepts are going to be related, but they're going to be a little bit different. And so I don't want to do both in the same video and then have you confused when all the purpose of this is to just kind of introduce things. So hope your summer is going well. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.